Arsenal through to the next round with a 2-0 win at Vale Park this evening against Port Vale. Let's get his post-match thoughts now. He's been speaking to David Craig.
Mikel, you said before the game, these types of ties are never easy for big clubs. You have to prepare well, you have to focus well. How well did your side acquit themselves tonight?
Yeah, it is, because the biggest thing that is at stake is your reputation, and that's a big thing. And you know that the moment that you give them something, the crowd is going to be with them, and we try not to give them momentum. We started the game really well, scored the goal, had another 2 big open situations. We didn't manage to do that. And in the second half, especially the first part of it, the moment they start to play direct play, throwing after throwing, start to throw your box, we lacked a little bit of control there. But at the end, with the changes as well, some impact plays coming in as well to win the game.
As you said, it's a difficult place to come, and even though you're a very good side, how crucial is that first goal just to settle things and perhaps settle the crowd in a situation?
It's all about momentum, the thing that they want to generate, and every opportunity that they have, they just play direct and they want to attack your box, and they are really good at it. And it's a game that you have to avoid. It's easier to set it to get it done, because they are really good when they do it. But I think we have moments as well in the game that we were very dominant and very good.
It's a first Arsenal goal for Eberici Eze. Very important moment for him. How important for you also to see him settling in as quickly as he is?
Well, that's what he's shown for, to win football matches and to generate the impact, especially in the last 25-30 minutes, with the creativity and the threat that he has. And he should have scored another 2, I think.
You played him in a very central role tonight. A lot of people sense that that's probably where he's most effective. I'm sure you'll have your own opinion. What do you make of that performance in that role tonight? Is that the role you see him in first and foremost, or do you see him more flexible?
Depends on the players that he has around him, and as well the opposition. And in certain moments that space was closed, and then we have to move it somewhere else, because what you want to do is find him in the right spaces. That's the most important thing. He's a player that needs to be in touch with the ball. He has to be really connected with the game, and we'll find different ways to do that.
Christian Norgard makes his first start for you as well. How crucial a piece of the jigsaw puzzle is having players like that to turn to, particularly this competition in other games you have coming up?
A joy of a player to have in the squad. Again, not only the quality, but what he brings, his character, his leadership, how much he wants to be a success here, and really happy with them and a lot of players, the 9 changes that we made that haven't played that many minutes.
You had to turn to your bench tonight, and you used your bench well. Is that going to be a big, crucial part now for Arsenal? Do you sense you have that strength in depth to be able to challenge on all fronts?
Yeah, because as well we started with certain players, 5 of them that we knew that could not finish the game. So we were already very restricted with some of the numbers, but they dealt with the situation good. Thankfully, we didn't have to make a sub for different reasons, so that allowed us to make the changes. Just
finally, Bukayo Saka, 60-odd minutes tonight. Was that always the plan, or was it precautionary after he took?
In maximum, we wanted to play in 60 minutes. There's a lot of games coming up now. He comes from an important injury again, and we need to manage his load.
He'll be around for the weekend against Newcastle.
He'll be around, yes.
Thank you, Mikel.
Thank you. Take care.
Take care.
Jamie, just quickly on the draw that we've just done, because Arsenal will face Brighton at home in the next round. How decent a draw is that for the Gunners, particularly given the fact they're at home?
It's not an easy draw.
No.
Brighton are a great side. They've got a lot of good players. You know, you've seen it again yesterday with the boy they signed. He gets 4 goals. Signs from Inter Miami. They've just got a brilliant scouting system. So there's always some other players that players like. They've got lots of goals in the team, so it won't be an easy game at all. But they'll look at it and think home draw, good draw. And they've got Champions League, lots of games coming up. But the biggest one is next weekend. You know, the weekend coming up against Newcastle. They got bashed up against Newcastle a few times, certainly in this competition. And they've got to make sure they go up there and withstand that pressure. It's a big one.
They have a great record at St James's Park.
They don't, but not many teams do. It's a really hard place to go. Mike and I were just talking about it. They play with such great energy. They make it really difficult for you. With or without Isak, they're still a very tough proposition. So looking forward to that one. They need to get some momentum going. I know.
But looking at that, Brownie, because we've talked a lot about how tough an Arsenal start it has been for them this season. But when you look then at those run of the games, there's an opportunity there, isn't there, to begin to develop some real momentum?
You would think so. I mean, the Champions League does become difficult. Olympiacos, you'd say, yes, they'll be fine. Atletico Madrid. But, you know, I feel like last season I felt like they were really heavy favourites in the Champions League. I felt like they were going to progress. They missed their opportunity. I feel like their recruitment has been good. It will take a little bit of time for them to gel and mix in. The pressure has increased, though, on the whole football club of Mikel Arteta, and that's something just hanging over them slightly. And I feel like he's getting a little bit edgy. He's a little bit nervy. He's normally a little bit more relaxed for me. And he's making different decisions.
He's been given exactly what he wants. They've got strength in depth. They've got players that can come off the bench, good starters, so they feel like they're ready. You know, and I agree. He's done a good job, but he needs to go and win something now. And I think that's the pressure that he's under. But do I see a different Mikel Arteta? No, I don't. I think he's always been like that, and that's what I think that's what makes Arsenal fans absolutely love him. But I think that's what makes him sometimes difficult to watch if you're not an Arsenal fan.
Do you feel like tactically? Do you know we talk about so many times about his tactical awareness? Do you feel like he does overthink it at times, and he does maybe look too far into situations that he doesn't need to? Because
I think that goes for a lot of managers now, though, Michael.
Yeah.
I think a lot of managers like to micromanage. They like, tactically, they think, how can we undo the manager and what can we do differently? I thought the weekend, I listened to the guys afterwards and I couldn't agree more. I think with the midfield that he picked and that balance, it was almost like he went in there to make sure they didn't lose, to be good at set pieces, very big midfield. I would love to have seen him go with Eze. And he can turn around and say, well, I want my finish, I want the players to come on. But when you're equalising with a couple of minutes to go and you're chasing the game, and you can say you controlled the game, you were 1-0 down, so of course you're going to have the ball, you're at home, that's what happens. But I feel that they've not perhaps hit the edge. Gyökeres is going to be... He looks
got
like
work
a slow,
to do, hasn't he?
Yeah, he hasn't worked yet. He hasn't worked for me. He's got a couple of goals against Leeds, but the games like Manchester City, that's what you bought him for. That's the difference maker that you want.
And you on the same page as Thierry Henry recently said that he has to win something this season, silverware-wise?
I think if he doesn't, I think he comes under enormous pressure, yeah. And they're not at the moment, because we're so early into the season. But if he doesn't win, then you'd have to say, with another manager, is there anyone else out there that could probably do as well, if not better, with that squad? Because that squad is ready to win. You can't keep throwing money at it, and there'll be other managers out there that I'm sure they'll be looking at thinking, all right, if Mikel Arteta can't do it, there'll be somewhere else. And that doesn't mean to say he's not a good manager. He's obviously shown that in the past. But when you're managing and you're spending the money that you are, one trophy since 2020 isn't big enough. It isn't enough for the enormity of that team, and they're ready. And they have. And Michael's right to obviously to a large extent. They've been so unlucky at times. And I think back a couple of years ago when Manchester City went on the most amazing run. I think they won the last 13 games to just pip them at the post. Last year they weren't good enough. Liverpool were too strong for them. But it does feel like this year they've got to get after Liverpool and they've got to make sure they keep themselves in it. Going to Newcastle the weekend, that feels like one of those games.
You're doing that game, aren't you?
Yeah, you have to win. I feel like you've got to go there and get a win just to keep that momentum up.
Out of that place, St James's Park, that is easier said than done. Right, we're going to take a quick break in the final third. 200 from Arsenal, 73 from the home side. And given the 61 places between these two sides, Arsenal absolutely dominating the possession with 81%. Jamie, as we look back on that opening goal from Eberici, his opening goal for Arsenal as well, how much was it a nicely crafted goal in terms of how they open up the opportunity, and how much was it Port Vale making life rather easy for the Gunners?
I think it's probably a little bit of both. I think when Arsenal are starting to probe and they're getting into good positions and Eze's making it difficult, you just see him there at the bottom of the screen, just drifting in between the lines. Somebody I feel was maybe got to go and engage in him. No one ever really gets close enough to him. He's just drifting and he's waiting for that opportunity. It's a nice little bit of play here by Martinelli. And he just drifts in behind the midfield player, opens up his body lovely and just finishes it. But somebody has to go and organise that, get close to him, stop him.
It's the overloads on the wider areas. You just see him circled in the middle. He's just aware, just having a little look around. That flick was fortunate. If Crowsdale at the back of him, I think he would have obviously read it. He'd be disappointed that he's gone the other side. But they're in a good position there, Port Vale. But when you give good players space, when they get into areas, generally as well, they can just make a half a yard. That's what he did.
And I guess part of your job as the home side, as a League One side, Brownie, in a game like this, is you try and make life as uncomfortable as possible for visitors. Did Darren Moore's side do that tonight?
No, they didn't. I feel like at times they didn't really put as much pressure on. But if you just look at this ball here, it's a great ball. They did that at the weekend when they were looking to try and find something. Yeah, Saliba with a great ball. His touch was excellent. They took him inside and then he had the extra one. You just see him waiting on the line. His timing of his run was excellent. And it's all about the quality and the touch. As he moves it inside, he takes an extra little look. So if you just see it's a difficult technique. There's that touch there just to take it away. It's the extra one. And then a great reverse finish. It's a really top-class finish and a really well-worked goal.
Yeah, his second of the season for Eze Trossard, both have been from the bench. The previous one against Athletic Bilbao in the Champions League last week. And underlining once again, Jamie, his impact, Arsenal's substitute impact so far this season.
Yeah, absolutely. Michael's right. This touch there just gives him that half a yard and just lifts it over the defender. a really good finish. He knows where the goal is. He always gets goals. He's that type of player. He's busy, he runs in behind. If you give him space and opportunities, he will get good numbers for you.
After promotion, no wins in their opening 7, couple of wins in a row in the league. Decent performance, albeit a defeat against Arsenal tonight. Do you feel they have begun to turn a corner?
I think so. Like I said at the start of the show, 12 new signings. That is a full turnaround. And going into a league above, it's going to take time. I think it's a longer process. I feel like there's great support. It's got a great sort of organisation at Port Vale, good owner. And now a group of players, I feel like they've got several options at the top of the pitch. I think that back line is quite secure. So again, that was tested at a much higher level today, and I think they coped quite well, limiting Arsenal. So something to build on, and I feel like they, just need to now creep away with the performances away from that bottom end.
Right, next up, boys, no clammy hands, no pressure. It is the draw for the 4th round.